What's going on, guys? Zach Evanesh here from Underground Strength Gym and ZachStrength.com. So it's been real interesting that normally my Instagram doesn't get too many haters. It's kind of a rare thing to get haters. But people have been very up in arms lately over two posts. So I'm going to talk about those posts. Number one, I posted an old photo of Kevin Tolbert curling the anvil, doing farmer walks, and stories of his numbers. Things like squatting 600 for 30 reps and, benching 405 for 15, some crazy ass numbers. Now, my friend Greg Panora was really busted up over it, and I laughed because he was great about it. I was, busting on him and calling him an internet troll. But he tried breaking down the numbers. Greg being a former world record holder and a powerlifting coach, a strength coach. He's looking at kind of guys that he's training who squat 1,000 pounds and what could they squat for high reps. And so he's saying basically the numbers don't add up, which I don't know if we'll ever know. Kevin Tolbert graduated the Naval Academy in 1981. That means he was training excuse me, guys, in the mid-late 70s with this high-intensity training that his father, Dr. Ken Leisner, was coaching him on. And by the way, Dr. Ken adopted Kevin Tolbert. But Dr. Ken was, he was a student of Nautilus. He was also a power lifter. So student of Nautilus and Arthur Jones, the one all-out set to failure, training guys like Casey Viator and Mike Menser and the like. And then, training at places like Zuber's Gym, amongst powerlifters. And Dr. Ken was extremely strong. There's video footage of him, I believe he's in his mid to late 40s, squatting 405 for 22 reps. And Dr. Ken in that video weighs like 165, which is insane. Now, people are built differently. There's been many athletes I've trained who have like big... they could lift heavy in that, 3 to 5 rep range, maybe 1 to 3 rep range, but they don't have good muscular endurance, high repetition strength. Then I have those that aren't that strong, but they kind of throw you for a loop when you once in a while throw in some high rep work. It goes off the charts. And so people are asking, is it really strength training if I'm doing sets of 15, 20, and 30? Now, strength training has many forms of strength. If we look under the umbrella of strength training, if we're looking at absolute strength, we're looking at the 1 to 3 rep range, 1 to 2 rep range, right? Certain percents of kind of 93, 95% and higher. You've got strength endurance, strength speed of a higher percentage, speed strength slightly lower, which I feel is really power, getting moving weight in a short amount of time. Then we have muscular endurance, which could be also coined of strength endurance, although strength endurance is higher repetitions with a heavier weight. And so there are many forms of strength training. They all, in my opinion, fall under the umbrella of strength. You want to confirm it with science, whatever. Now, I'm going to give you some stories of guys that kind of like throw things for a loop. I trained this kid at Rutgers, high-level wrestler. He was a round away from placing as an All-American, and he was just straight up tough. And in the deep off season, I would do a short mini cycle of 20 rep squats. I think we did it like 1 week. Next week was like a normal, 5x3 or 5x5. Then the odd week, we did another set of 20 rep squats. It was in the deep off season, the summer, when there's no competition, there's no school, there's plenty of recovery. And it's something to do as a gut check. It's something to shock the system, which, believe it or not, athletes need, and they thrive on it. Some advanced lifters will be very upset with the fact that athletes like variety. Like, oh, God, you should just squat, bench, deadlift, and clean. You don't need anything else. Perhaps you don't need anything else, but guess what? The mindset, the mentality of somebody will help determine what they actually need. You're matching the training to meet their mindset. And that is a big difference between powerlifters, competitive powerlifters, competitive Olympic weightlifters, and athletes. This is why we see athletes doing some weird shit sometimes And you say to yourself, that doesn't even do anything. But for them, they're eccentric. They believe in it. They like doing weird stuff. It builds their confidence. Now I'm going to come back to this mindset stuff regarding the second post, which has to do with Bill Kazmaier commenting on a repost of mine. So hang tight on that. Back to the story. So while we did the 20 rep squats, I remember everybody pretty much hitting 18, 20, 22. Maybe one guy did 25 or 26. This kid, with kind of the math I gave them to determine your 20 rep squat, wound up getting something like 36 reps, 38 reps, just like blowing it out of the water. His absolute strength was not that high. So we basically looked at doing something like, if you want to get 20 rep squats, we're looking somewhere around 70% of what you could do for 5 reps, 75, 80%, something like that. So for example, when I squatted 315 for 22 reps, I would normally squat 405 for like 2x5, maybe 455 for a triple, 495 for a single. So I looked at 405, I went to about 75% of that, and then kind of gut checked myself to get those 22 reps. And there's a funny story behind that. That's a whole nother video as to why I did it that day. And it's funny. You guys will have to remind me and ask me why. So, Kaz, so now I want to talk about this for a second. I'm sorry for jumping. A little bit of ADD of the bodybuilding, powerlifting world. And so these different forms of strength training, certain people gravitate towards others or towards certain things. Certain people like a variety of those things, high reps, heavy weight, all mixed together. Certain people have a real minimalistic approach. For example, in Marty Gallagher's book, The Purposeful Primitive, many of the lifters, whether it's powerlifters, bodybuilders, basically, historic strength people, Dorian Yates, Kurt Kowarski, Kenny Fantana, all these guys. It's interesting. A lot of the people he featured took on a minimalist approach and often trained twice a week, maybe 3 days a week. And they often worked up to one all-out set and then called it a day on that exercise. And maybe did some supplemental work, maybe not. I think Kenny Fantana, who was a savage, was training once a week. It was a squat, bench, deadlift, all in the same session. You'll have to read that book, Purposeful Primitive. It's one of my favorites. Mark Chalet, same thing. I believe deadlifting near 900 pounds. So that brings me to my next, post where people got angry. I posted this a while ago. My buddy Josh Bryant of Jailhouse Strong reposted it, and it was something like old school strength rules. I'll pull it up here on my computer. So just a second, guys. Uno momento, por favor. Bust out a little bit of that Spanish for you guys. And so, let's see. Gonna look them up. Jailhouse Strong. And it's a photo of one of the Barbarian brothers squatting in his work boots and jeans. And I'm gonna show it to you right now. This is where Kaz commented and got very upset. Old school lifting rules, okay? It kind of was a joke, by the way. Work boots, cut off flannel, steak and eggs, heavy free weights, training 3 to 4 days a week. Here's one of the Barbarian brothers squatting, work boots, jeans, flannel, and that's that. So Josh reposts that. Okay, sorry guys, just adjusting here. He reposts this, and world famous, world record holder, one of the baddest MFers to walk planet Earth, Kaz, makes a comment. He says, yeah, why train 7 days a week when everyone is training 3 days a week and showing off their big arms on beer nights in between? Makes perfect sense, huh? Then he says, and to be crystal clear, I did a 49 set back routine with 36 sets of arms. It was too much volume. Sorry, I never got that memo. The day after bench, last set, 430 pounds for 25 reps, with lots of higher reps, near 500, coming down from 5x5 at 550. Thanks for the tips on moderate training. So what did I reply to him? There has never been and will never be another Kaz. So, did Kaz break world records? Yes, he did. Did he do crazy high volume? He sure did. What about Ed Cohn? Ed Cohn essentially trained like a power builder. He would do his deadlift or squat. He'd work up to a top end set. Then he would do leg extensions, leg curls, and calves. On chest day, he would also do flies and dips. On back day, he would deadlift and then do barbell row, shrugs. He would even do weighted chins. He didn't do 50 sets. Kurt Karwoski, perhaps one of the best pound-for-pound squatters of all time. When he would wear his, powerlifting suit, he didn't even wear a fitted one. He wore it loose because he didn't like it. So he was essentially a raw squatter. He squatted over 1,000 pounds. Kirk trained under Marty Gallagher's coaching on the minimalistic approach. Build up to an all-out top set and be done. Call it a day. What did Kirk do for legs? Squats and maybe like a set or two of leg extension and leg curl. What did he do for his back? Deadlift. That's it. He said he did leg presses once, but everybody was too tired loading up the weights. It was a waste of time. What am I saying here? There's a mindset according to, as a coach now, you're organizing training according to the mindset of the athlete or the lifter. Some lifters are crazy and they need that volume. When I got into bodybuilding, I had finished wrestling. I was crazy. So here would be a workout we would do. I'd squat. I'd work up to 405. I wouldn't rack it. One guy on each side, take it to 315. Drop set immediately. Max reps. 225 max. 135 max. That's the dumbest thing. Drop sets on back squats. I would do the same thing on leg press. Work up to 10 plates each side. Max out. Take a plate off. Another plate off. But it would end up being like 7 or 8 sets in one. It would be over 100 reps in one set. It was insane. I would do the same thing on bench press. Bench 275, then do forced reps, then do 2 negatives, rack it, take the quarters off. Bench 225, max out, forced reps, negatives, then do the same thing at 135. Mentally, I needed that because I was crazy. I tried to destroy people who would train with me. Was I strong? I was squat 495 for a single. That's nothing really to write home to mom about. But I was a bodybuilder, not a powerlifter. I was also 19 years old using those weights. I wanted to just destroy people who trained with me. So, it was all these supersets and drop sets and forced reps and negatives. And when I made my best gains, by the way, in size and strength, I followed the Dorian Yates program out of his Blood and Guts book. He was on a 4-day split. I trained every other day. I took 2 days off after leg day. So every 9 days, my body was worked once. And that's when I got my strongest and I felt my best. Now I want to tackle that as well. Marty Gallagher has set world records for his age group, whether it's masters over multiple, ages. And Marty has never had any surgery or serious injury. Now, what about Kaz? Has he had surgeries and injuries? Probably. And what I'm saying is the volume will take its toll. And the tricky thing is, when you're young, you just feel indestructible. You're not at age 25, 28 wondering what you're going to feel like at age 55 when you're with kids or grandkids. You're just not thinking that way. And so this is why I do like a moderate volume approach, because I think about longevity. So I personally train usually 5 days a week, maybe 4. I'm 45. My intensity is not like what it used to be. But I feel when people train so much, they start coasting. You see, to copy what Kaz did, Kaz is not normal. So why the fuck would anybody copy what he did? I haven't met anybody with his attitude, ever, okay? So if you copy his training, you'll kill yourself. You'll be destroyed because you don't have the mindset for it. You're not mentally ready for it. I have found that to keep people consistent, they got to train 3 days a week, maybe 4. And by the way, I have trained many athletes with good success twice a week. Are they powerlifters? Are they bodybuilders? No. I'm talking football players, wrestlers, swimmers, hockey players. I've trained them twice a week. Maybe 2 full body workouts, maybe an upper body day and a lower body day. On the lower body day, they get upper body calisthenics. On the upper body day, they get sled work and lower body calisthenics. So essentially full body days. But what Kaz said, getting all fired up over moderation, I don't know who could that really apply to. Can people get strong doing high reps? You have to do heavy weight. And so obviously Dr. Ken's training style, he got his adopted sons, his trainees, he got them strong. Do I agree with high intensity training for athletics? No, I do not. I've made the mistake myself. I think you need more volume. I think you need some specialization of movements, some general specific work, and I think it beats the crap out of your body too much and interferes with sport. I could tackle that a little deeper on another video, but this is a pretty long video and most people don't make it past 2 minutes. So in speaking of training and people tough and mindset, look at this. How many people will watch 16 minutes and willing to learn? It goes to show you that most people do not have a strong mind and wouldn't even invest this amount of time in their learning. I've had strength coaches tell me, I only learn if the video's 2 minutes. Well, you will never be great because you don't want to invest time in anything. A minute video, 2 minutes video, it's bull crap. Boom. So a lot of food for thought there. How to get strong, what it takes to get strong, the many variations of getting strong. Kaz being upset with moderation. There has only been one Kaz and there will never be another Kaz. Learning to do what's good for you, oftentimes you need a coach to help you do that. That's the truth, okay? That's it, guys. Go to ZachStrength.com, pick up your free training courses, and if you're here on YouTube, you got the links below for online coaching. If you're watching on Instagram, link in bio. Boom.